souls are made of glass, fragile and to be handled with care. Break them, and they may shatter into dangerous shards. In our world, as it is in the other, Mordriel is the second angel of Kelemvor. The first angel of death was myself, Mordriel. While all angels are considered to be siblings, I was considered to be Mordriel's twin. Most thought I was more powerful. During the mortal war, due to my power, I became our leader, known among us as the Eminent of the Angels. Mordriel, for a millennia, was weak in comparison. Not just when compared to myself, but most of the other angels. For the most part, he didn't even fight. Unbeknownst to me and my brethren, he was harboring more power than perhaps the gods that created us. When the lizard folk began turning the tide in the war, over many hundreds of years, they defeated all other angels. After the last angel fell to the lance, and the overwhelming force of the lizard folk, Mordriel was able to hide and survive for a great deal of time. Eventually, the lizard folk found Mordriel. Their leader pierced his skin with the most powerful weapon, the angel spear. Mordriel channeled all of his energy into undeath, postponing his immediate demise. As an angel of Kelemvor, in this moment, he was able to draw upon the energy of the god of death. And in a move that none had thought to try, one that we did not even consider to believe we had the power to bequeath, Mordriel bestowed a soul upon the lizard folk leader. The act created a miracle of creation. What was created was our world's first dragon. Angels are unable to know the location of the angel's spear. We cannot even see it when it is before us. However, the spear was inside Mordriel himself. As he lay dying, a new dragon above him, the spear in his chest, Mordriel drew into himself the power of the spear, the first of us in over a millennia of war, to give into death. Consuming the power of the angel's spear, Mordriel unintentionally bound the power of the spear to himself. Involuntarily, at this moment, the dragon nearby was also drawn into Mordriel. My brother transformed into something else. Mordriel had ascended into a new creature. Neither angel nor dragon, neither alive nor dead. His new understanding and command of death allowed Mordriel to reanimate the fallen lizard folk into his command. Within months, the world was underneath Mordriel's rule. The lizard folk zombies had converted the living into undeath. A rare few even retained parts of their personalities, though they had become twisted vampiric creatures, bound in servitude to Mordriel. But, after thousands of years of war, after a cataclysmic wave of death brought on by Mordriel's new form, our Gaia had been destroyed. The land cracked and torn, the sky forever darkened. Mordriel, with total dominance over death, came to the slow realization that Gaia itself was dead. The planet was entirely devoid of any life. The plants, the animals, everything down to bacteria itself. Gone. Wiped from the world by Mordriel's new natural power. Hundreds of years would pass. Mordriel would search every corner of Gaia, but he was utterly alone. In his meditation, Mordriel sought life, a desperate bid to return our world back to what it was. Mordriel missed the other angels, the mortal folk, the animals. Mordriel even missed our enemy, the lizard folk. Mordriel missed the war that ended everything, the purpose it brought him. He sought methods to allow our Gaia to be reborn, for many years turning up nothing upon nothing. On the cusp of madness, Mordriel discovered a unique ability, the Mana Weave. Through this magic, Mordriel found life. Another world filled with life. A second Gaia, vibrant with the energy of vitality. And though it would take him a century, channeling all of his power, he was ultimately able to open a doorway, moving from our dead world and into another living Gaia. Mordriel would find the landscape clean, fresh, and alive. The sounds of life, the scent of vigor, his senses brimming with the lifeblood of vitality. Mordriel came through the doorway, but so too did his undead. Pouring through the gateway, a flood of necrosis. Mordriel flew to the nearest city. Behind him, the ground dried, the plant life withered, the wildlife decayed away. Arriving at the gates of the capital city of Ki, the forest city at the center kingdom of Valia, a city far greater than anything the lizard folk of our world had ever constructed, Mordriel was met by the elves of Ki, such unique beings, vibrant with life. However, within Mordriel's mere presence, the council and the entire city would perish, almost instantly. All that remained was Silthus, angel of Sylvanas. The people, the land, the flora and fauna may have died, but his brother stood before him. It did not look like Silthus, but it had felt like Silthus. He sensed his brother, alive. How long had it been since he had seen his siblings? Hundreds of years? A millennia? Mordriel approached Silthus, calling to him. Silthus did not respond. Something was wrong. The angels here were wrong. They were not sentient. No, something worse. The angels here did not have souls. No, hollow aberrations. It was obscene to Mordriel. The souls of this world, were they given to the mortals? Turning back to his mindless brother, Mordriel came to a second, sickening realization. Silthus had died. Mordriel's power was so great, it could kill even his celestial kin. So this is why the gods had ignored him. His calls, his cries, his pain, his loss. This was why. Everything was a game, an experiment. In one world, souls given to the angels, in another, to the mortals. So then, when he had destroyed his Gaia, had the gods ignored his calls because they had yet another world to occupy their trivial time? If we are but toys to petty children, Mordriel thought, I will smash every toy. If my new form is only suitable for destruction, then I will break everything they have ever created. And when they have nowhere else to look, they will have no choice but to look at me. To turn and face me.
Don't be so casual, Brad.
What?
Don't you dare be so casual.
What? I was just setting it up. You're in the forest. You're in the forest of the House of Knowledge.
Oh my god. Sorry.
You're standing before Ceridwen, which is an angel, which appears to be just a giant 15-foot mirror. When you speak to this mirror and ask it questions, though it takes some of your life force to do so, it provides a truthful answer. And, well, I suppose a truthful answer would be incorrect. A knowledge-full answer is what it provides. You asked a bunch of questions last week, with the last one just sort of being like, what's the entire story? Now, everything you just saw in that little video that I banged out in a few minutes didn't take me long at all.
Sure.
Almost killed me.
Brad.
Almost killed me. You now have that knowledge. That's the answer the mirror gave you. However, it was Thrak in the mirror delivering that information, rather than I thought it would be more interesting and fun cinematically for the viewers and us to watch the version of the story told by Mordriel. Essentially, you were given all of the information that was in that little 12-minute video.
So Mordriel appeared within the mirror to see that story.
No. Mordriel
Okay.
did not appear in the mirror. Thrak told you that story. I just thought it would be more interesting if Mordriel told the story for, rather than have Thrak do it.
I see.
So yeah, that's the only sort of like split you need to make mentally. And everything you learned last week, you learned, but remember, you've learned 2 sets of information secondhand through Hard, the wizard that is with you at the moment, who has been teaching Thrak everything. There's this Goliath wizard nearby who had sort of retold all of the questions that you asked the mirror, including all of the information you got. The mirror, when you ask it questions, will take a maximum HP from you, which means Thrak, I don't know if you already did it, but you lose 1 + 1. I think you only asked it 1 question after the reset. That was it, right?
It's just one, and then it doubles every time.
Okay.
Did I ask it another question after we?
I think you asked it this
reversed
question,
everything?
and then you got a 12-minute intro video played
Right.
for you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
For the most part, Hard was able to use some of the reverso time music, magic and music to reverse some of the effects of the damage done to you, but I think really Sia was the one who suffered the most. As
I only
the
got
spell,
1 HP back, yeah.
the spell didn't really take to you in that way. Assuming that most of you sort of just take the information as read, then you have all of the information. Jildan, however, I think probably Jildan already mistrusting Hard, and then on top of that, sort of being told by Hard that Elneas is a fiend, and not the Elneas that can be found, the angel Elneas that can be found in the village of Ku, I suppose would be quite weird for Jildan, potentially. I don't know how she's feeling or what she's up to.
She's just staring at the blank mirror.
Yeah, the version of Thrak that has just finished retelling this tale explains everything that you just learned about Mordriel's creation, this sort of new version of him that exists that inexplicably destroyed his own Gaia. Myre referred to as Gaia Zero. Sort of thought the version of Thrak that was pacing up and down and telling this story, I would imagine in very much like a university professor way, rather than, a story weaving writer or something reading a chapter from their book. Eventually closes his own spell book, tucks it into wherever he holsters his spell book, and then turns to the mirror where Thrak is stood, taking up the same pose as Thrak, and kind of falls still. The four of you stood nearby the mirror, heard all of this. Hard heard it as well, scratching his sort of chin and beard. He looks to each of you. What are you doing next?
I think I would have been watching and listening intently, not even blinking. And then after the story has been told, I just go, finally all the pieces have fallen into place. It makes so much sense, it's plain as day. But I only have one question now. And that is, if this Mordriel is from that world, then what of our Mordriel? Where are they, and do they have the power to stop this one? If it's soulless, can we control it and make it stop this one?
Control it.
Yes, the Mordriel without the soul. The same but different. It's opposite, it's half, it's whole.
Is it opposite or is it a limb?
I don't know. A limb? If this Mordriel, the one that came through here, the one that brought with it that wave of lizard folk, if that is from somewhere else, he must have another part. Limb? I'm not so sure. Is that to imply that in this other world, if we were to exist there, we'd be limbs there? Or would we be soulless
Yes,
mortals?
To be another half, you'd have to be comprised of the same thing. I mean, if what we heard is true, the way that Mordriel understands what the angels are here is that they're not sentient.
Right. They don't have souls to him. They're likely aberrations. They're a laugh in his face, right? He's been spat at that, his world, our existence is nothing but some sort of experiment from beyond the divine. So be it. It makes sense to me. However,
Yes, the anger.
right.
I do not think that is true.
In what way?
I believe that, well, when I was in the tower, I sought information about the angels, and as I understand it, the Gaia where he comes from is the first Gaia. And when it was destroyed by Mordriel, gods created the second Gaia.
Only when it was destroyed?
That's how I understand it, yes.
The story you just told us a second ago seemed slightly different. That
The
they were
story
perhaps in
that was told
parallel.
to us a second ago was told from the perspective of Mordriel.
Do you want to make me an intelligence saving throw?
To see if I remember things correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. An 18.
You get like a little bzz. Yeah, I don't know if you misremember or whether in my bedraggled state over the last few weeks I sort of spoke incorrectly at one point. But no, both of the guys were built at the same time.
Were built at the same time. Okay. No, I wouldn't have said any of that.
I mean, you can
Oops.
say that you the
Misremembered.
way that you remembered the way that you gained that knowledge was crazy. You were like downloading from the cloud all of the entire internet into your brain. So
Right.
it could just be that the way you remember things isn't necessarily the same anymore, and that piece of information as you understood it was then changed in real time by your brain to remember.
Okay.
It's up to you how you want to play it.
Yeah. I just wouldn't have said that if. So I guess. Yeah, maybe you're right. Having a hard time remembering.
I think Sia cracks a smile for a half second, as I believe that's the first time he's heard those words from those green lips. But immediately it's back to business because this is more important than that. So, in which case, if, again, these are two parts, these are two Mordriels, I wonder where the other one is. And if it's possible to use it. If it is just some rock, no offense, Cirrus, just waiting to be used. If it has no soul, if it can be controlled, if it can be moved against him, then that seems...
Why?
Why?
Would it move against him?
Well, it
If
wouldn't
it is
on
as
its
you
own.
say.
Right.
Well, we know. We're speaking to an angel right now. Mordriel may believe that they are not sentient, but we've spoken to them. They've given us their will.
Mordriel is sentient. He's from that world where they were sentient.
Yes,
that
I know,
Mirror,
but
I
I'm
don't
saying,
believe is.
How can you say that?
I don't know.
What about the mountain? We spoke to the trees.
And
They spoke to us.
for a second, when you think about it, when you think about our encounter with those trees, Did they seem sentient to you, or were they just giving information?
Of course they were sentient. We're not just merely giving information. Did you not
We've
feel
dismantled and destroyed several automatons between there and here. Little machines going about their tasks, being destroyed. That pseudo-dragon. You think those things have souls? They're all constructs.
Are you saying the angels are constructs? Merely
At least-
things?
From what Thrak told us, yes, the angels here in this world are constructs. Our sister world, we are constructs. And that makes sense to me. You see Seer's eyes just wide and wild. The eyes on his forehead, they're not open right now. This is all just him. There isn't any body language other than him just staring at you, matter of fact. Different.
Then perhaps the issue comes with what our perception of a soul is. Who says it's necessary? Who says it's better to have one?
I'm
Fun. Right, of course.
not certain that a soul is required for sentience. And I'm unsure why this matters. Mordriel, as described in the information we just got, was very weak. Not sure how he can help us.
I mean, far be it from me to be philosophical about this, and if a soul matters, I believe even the gods themselves were practicing and seeing if this was the case in the first place. That's why there exists two Gaias, and who knows, there might be more. However, that's besides the point. This pouty Mordriel destroyed his world, and now he seeks to destroy this one too. To which I don't think it's going to be beneficial if he does, personally. I quite fancy living, sentient or otherwise.
Right. Sentient or otherwise.
Odd. Why is Moon still standing? Why hasn't Mordriel destroyed it?
Perhaps
are,
he's only just...
Asking me?
Oh,
This is a
yes.
question for the mirror.
Well, I was hoping you could save me the pain of asking the mirror.
Well, I
You
have
know?
had my suspicions. I suspected that perhaps because the ground is not alive, perhaps there is some sort of like a disease that was unable to travel across the snow, but I think perhaps this is not the case. It just seems as though wherever Mordriel goes, it dies, and he simply has not gone to Moon. Perhaps it is the last place for him to visit. I do not know.
Mirror?
I turn to the mirror.
I step away from the mirror.
I look at Cirrus.
Why has Mordriel not gone to Moon, and where is he going?
The version of Cirrus in the mirror, watching Cirrus, and then she turns to look at the whole group and says, well, he couldn't really move his forces across the snow during winter around Uma. There's no way for the lizard folk and the creatures that he commands to move through that kind of cold. The mountain keeps them safe. In Moon, he basically had to wait till spring, and so he moved east, west, south. I suspect soon he will move north himself if his undead don't destroy Uma and Moon first. Mordriel currently is moving here, flying this way. He's coming here from the Terran Empire in the west.
Hold on a minute. If this talking dish knows where Mordriel is and where he's coming from, that means there are two spears as well. Thrak just said that in his world he was slain by a spear, and then the spear became one with him.
He accepted it.
Right.
He pulled it into himself.
Correct.
He is the spear. And the dragon. What makes you think a spear here would not just add to his power?
I didn't say it would. I didn't say it wouldn't. As far as I know from what that Hard said, it's likely that it wouldn't do anything. I'm just stating that, well, I guess it's the obvious, right? There are two spears.
He's angry at the gods, and he doesn't want to be alone.
That being said, how can we remedy that situation? I think you offered to give this creature company, but Thrak told us a second ago he killed an angel simply by being in its presence. We've seen what a dead angel can do to us just by being in its presence, and that's without the power of death on its side.
I turn back to the mirror.
Sirius,
Where do things with souls go when they die?
First of all, you do have to take the damage for the last question, which is 1.
Yep.
The version of Sirius in the mirror says, well, souls don't really die. They, some of them are split, some are recycled. That is what Quura is. People with the mark are some of the first souls brought back. Sometimes souls split into 2. New souls are born, new people, new creatures, and so on. The version of you calms again, and you take 1 + 1 damage too.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask another. Sorry, guys. I know that we're not. I know, but
I would say that means that we likely, many people on this Gaia may share the soul of Mordriel's siblings.
do you think that's the case? Or do you think that their souls... I'm not speaking to the mirror. Do you think that their souls exist somewhere else? Have not been lost? Could we reunite Mordriel? Could we show him that their soul still exists somewhere? Give him a reason to not be alone. Give him
You
a
just
way, a
asked
path.
where the souls would go.
a reason to die, hopefully.
Yes, but I asked, where do souls go? But I can ask, where are the souls of the angels specifically? Can they be found? I'm sorry, I don't see how we kill him. I don't see how it's possible. So I'm trying to think of a way to give him what he
Aye.
wants so that he does not need to kill.
I agree that it is unlikely our original plan will work with this new information.
Well,
However, the original spear was not wielded by a dragon.
was it
All
not?
right, so
No. It was wielded by a soulless lizard leader.
well then I
GM,
suppose.
sorry.
No,
Mhm.
go ahead.
Am I misremembering now? I thought that the lizard leader was given a soul and then he then attacked with the spear.
No, he attacked with the spear.
Right.
The lizard folk had an angel spear, which is what won them the war. I'll just,
Right.
You got them that. He attacked Mordriel with the spear. Mordriel was damaged by the spear. Then Mordriel bestowed a soul onto the lizard folk leader, which turned him into a dragon. This dragon was just like flying around. Then Mordriel Mordriel just accepted that he was going to die, and the spear and the dragon were pulled into him, and he became this bizarre amalgamation of all of those things.
So what begot our dragon then? I say to Thrag.
Do I know anything about the history of dragons?
You can make me a history check. If you roll very, very high, you might have this answer.
No. 16.
Dragons are just old school creatures. Literally as far back as history goes, there are dragons. There's nothing particularly unique about these dragons in this setting, in the sense that there's nothing, they don't have any particular features that might stand out. The metallic and chromatic war exists. Generally speaking, the metallic dragons are more good-natured, though it's not that they are just aligned good. They are still animals. You met one. They're very, very reptilian. They're very dangerous, and they will just kill people. They don't. It's not like they're protectors and sort of designated good or anything like that. But generally speaking, the chromatic dragons are all completely just pure evil for the most part. But yeah, when it comes to the questions that you have regarding dragons and souls and things like that, you have really got no information, nothing to base it off of. Your general understanding of dragons is probably appropriate for this. They're extremely rare. It's pretty rare that anyone sees dragons. They're not just flying around all the time. And even Reothamus was just underground sleeping for a really long time. So not only are they rare in sight, but they often will just sleep for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I would.
Yep.
I would just say dragons are ancient creatures. I'm unsure where they come from, but I do not think they are angels. So I believe, based on the information we just got, they must have souls.
Understood. I'm just curious as to the significance of a lizard man getting a soul and becoming a dragon. I guess that's why we've never seen lizard men here before, because one with a soul is a dragon.
Perhaps.
You know, the whole balance the scales. Not, of course, the dragon scales, but the balance of souls. There aren't that many angels as far as I know. But if every angel in that world had a soul, and every person in this world has a soul, I imagine that means that our souls don't necessarily weigh as much as the soul of an angel. And if they do, if our Quura souls are old souls, then what does that mean? So many questions.
I believe it is likely we all share the same soul of an angel from the other Gaia.
Well, I guess that would depend on how long ago those angels died. But isn't that a good, interesting question?
Long before we were born, according to the story we just heard.
At least 100 years.
Right. If the gods just created these two places as a experiment, who chose us?
We don't know that.
Who designed the bond of Quura, the only thing that could defeat Mordriel, fate? What are the strings of it, if not designed by the gods? Then it means nothing. Then it's just... Is it just a folly we just came up with on our own? What is this magic that connects us to a purpose? What is the purpose? Who designed the purpose?
All interesting questions.
Clearly, there is another greater power at work here. Whether they are actively overseeing the situation or not, we have been chosen for a reason. I think that's clear.
Yes,
It's not
but what if
coincidence
Mordriel's
that
wrong?
put the four of us in the same town at the same time.
Right, but what if Mordriel's wrong? What if everything that we know, maybe the gods are still there, and this is part of it? The gods are looking at Mordriel, waiting to see what he does. They do care. Maybe.
Whether or not they are watching him, I am unsure. I do not think they are here, though.
I'm trying not to let this whole theory of the fact that maybe perhaps we all may possess the souls of angels get to my head. Because what does that mean? But I'm curious, Cirrus. When we met you, you seemed to be an adherent of this mountain god.
I am.
Were you always?
I feel as though I always was meant to be.
What is the basis of your faith?
What do you mean?
Why is it that this mountain is so important to you? Why is it that somebody who used to be bound to blind faith is now filled with so many questions? Where is your faith now? I'm just curious.
We were brought together at the foot of that mountain to which I pray, to which I owe my life. We were bonded at the behest of a power greater than ourselves. And my angel is one of those powers.
Your angel is but a vessel, right? No offense, your angel here has no soul, yet of course the one in the other world did. Is your faith then not with the angel, but with the angel's god? Or...
That's why I ask,
Hmm.
what is the meaning of a soul then? How important must it really be? If a creature such as my angel can exist and be such as it is, then does anyone really need a soul?
By that same token, it did seem as if from Thrak's story that mortals within the other world were more than content to wage war amongst one another without souls. I imagine in that case that warfare seems to be inherent to all mortal kind, with or without souls too. What does a soul then do? Does it temper us? Does it stop us from doing things? Does it make us ask these questions? Is that all souls are for? For this back and forth, this rapport, I wonder. I'm not trying to...
forth with my angel, and as well, I would have you know that those angels with souls waged war as well.
Right.
They were participants in their own demise. Mordriel,
So they were.
with a soul, will lead to the demise of this place as well.
Correct.
And I can tell you from experience,
Yes.
I've known many mortals with souls, and they are not better because of it.
True, but how many mortals with souls have you met that were mortals with whole souls? Quura souls. As we've learned, souls fragment, and those fragments likely find their way into others. Not that I'm saying they are lesser for being people without full souls, but that's beyond the measure of my question. I wasn't poking, prying, or trying to get into your head. I'm just curious as to where you are right now as we march towards the front door of death.
If you're asking me if my resolve and my ability to do what must be done, I will do it. That has not been shaken. It cannot be. What has been shaken is to what end? If Hod tells us true and this mirror says so as well, then it cannot be stopped. So what? We find the spear before Mordriel comes to the House of Knowledge. We give it to the dragon, and we, using our bond, create a more powerful weapon. Both of those things were pulled into him already. Who's to say it will not happen again? Either way, we sacrifice ourselves, and we will not know what happens to this world after we're gone, whether we succeeded or not.
Well, look around you. Well, not here. Here doesn't count yet. It's not dead. But look around you elsewhere. The lands that we've traveled, the folk we've met. Everything is fucked. If we don't find a way back, and I still feel strongly with my plan, if we don't stop Mordriel from coming here in the first place, giving him a big wet hug or killing him isn't going to matter. Gaia is dead. Now, I don't have the resources to do anything, to kill a god before, after he wasn't always this powerful. He became powerful after the spear, after the wish, after he was attacked by these lizard men. Maybe there is a way. Still, I don't have, and I looked at Thrak, such power.
And what if this is what the gods wanted? What if this is what the gods designed?
Then why should we care? If this is indeed the plan of the gods, for chaos, death, and destruction, and for this experiment to run its course, then us doing nothing, or us doing something, surely a part of this. And no offense, I couldn't give a fuck about the plan of gods. However, if we're able to do something with what is left of our lives, with what is left with this knowledge, then why not?
I think that we're on the right path. The bond, Quura, brought us together for a reason. Someone, something, brought us together for a reason. It is for us to have these conversations. It is for your perspective and mine, and Jildan's and Thrax's. We're better together as a whole. That is the difference that will be made.
I suppose that is yet to be seen. However, I shall leave the decision-making to you. And for the first time since we enter this place, Seer once again throws his hands back behind his head. And I cast my eyes over to Thrak.
I look at Hod and say, Hod, do you believe it is possible to use the power of your tower to save Gaia?
Well, first of all, it is not my tower. You should know this by now. It is our tower and all of the wizards who came before.
I was just avoiding rhyming too much.
Our tower of power. I do not know if we can use it to directly save our world, but I believe it to be the most powerful artifact in existence. It is far more powerful than any magical artifact I have ever come across or made myself. Except perhaps this spear, hidden away in the mountains of Ku or inside of this Dracolich. Who knows? If we can use the tower for anything, it is moving across Gaia quickly. That is its purpose, I believe. If it can do other things, then it could be used, I think, to go up and down the timeline. It is not something I am able to do, but I believe perhaps with time you would be able to do this. Ironically, we do not have the time to learn how to go up and down the weave of time. I would suggest, unless we are able to find a way to hide from Mordriel for years, so that you can practice this, perhaps we could go back, far enough back to prepare.
Is there something in the tower that can do that, Thrak? Like, a way to stop time? Freeze it, a place where we can go, like the labyrinth, but where time does not move outside. It could afford you time to learn, and then we could come back to this moment. Is that possible? Is there such a thing?
I think the possibilities within that tower beyond our comprehension. So, yes, it is possible. understanding how to do that is the question. We could ask the mirror.
I looked at him meaningfully. Like, yes?
Yes, we could ask the mirror how to use the tower to manipulate time. To what end? Do we go back in time 1,000 years and then find a way to open the portal to the other Gaia and kill Mordriel there?
Yes, or perhaps tell him what he becomes. Give him an option to choose a different path. Be different. I know
We could
none of
always
you agree
open with
me on
sweet
that.
words. But that is where my opinion goes. From your story, Thrak, he was never always this omnipotent, bitter being. He became this way. And in this form, he is indestructible. At least for the likes of anybody but a god. If we're able to go back before this time and stop him, that would be, in my opinion, perhaps the right thing to do. Regardless, I turn to Cirrus. Of the manner in which we convince him so.
I still hold hope that such beings carry wisdom. Wisdom enough to wish for another outcome.
Perhaps that's why you're here, Cirrus. To be that one of us that has this hope.
I believe one of us should ask the mirror whose soul we all share.
I am so
I
curious, I am so incredibly curious. We don't share a soul, we all have our own. However, whose is it? Whose was it? Why? Was it an angel? I'm so curious. You see my eyes flutter as I say this. I've lost complete composure. Catch myself, and then sit back, but I'm not prepared to risk a heart attack for it.
I also think one of us should ask how I can control the properties of the tower that allow for control of time.
With all due respect, I know
You've never given
not
any of us respect, so if you could stop using that phrase, it would make things go along faster.
I bare my fangs in a long, wide smile, and I say, "Ooh, you wound me." You would be quite the spectacle in Menzoberranzan, I swear. However, as I mentioned, with all due respect, my brother in soul, I know not what questions I asked the mirror, but I know not how exactly you rewound that process. But I don't think I should ask any more questions. I shall leave that in your proverbial court. Respectfully.
Yes, that's fine. I don't think I would call upon you to do any question asking. I'm fine with asking them both myself. But I wanted to have a discussion with everyone before we move forward. We also are pressed for time, as there is a Draco Lich I looked on the way here to destroy us all and everything in here, including this angel, soulless or not.
Hard is pacing around behind you. Again, you're all kind of stood, by the way, in like a really, like, an inch tall or an inch deep pool of water here. It's sort of just all around this thing. So the entire time you were having that conversation, there was like the splish splash of his feet and boots in the water and the dragging of his robes as he's moving around. He spent a lot of time pacing. He turns to you and says,
What? What are you talking about? Did you ask it where my toothbrush is yet?
Is there something significant about your toothbrush, Odd?
It's a very good toothbrush. It gets all of the places I need it to get. Without it, my back teeth always get sore.
Is there some sort of magical properties about your toothbrush that could help us save Gaia?
No, it is just a stick with some fine hairs on it.
Right. I think conversations like this happen a lot between the two of them because he's so silly and Thrak is so serious. I looked at Dilden. She just like got a pouty face on in the corner.
She's had a 1,000-yard stare for this entire conversation. Every now and then, a snatched word. She would turn. But then, nothing.
Dilden. I walk up to her. Dilden.
Yes. Yes,
Have you been listening? Did you hear what the mirror said?
yes, at a tower and their souls. Games.
Does she look sick or unwell?
She looks more tired.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a medicine check or an insight check if you want to know whether she's unwell or if there's something going on with her. But if it's just a,
I think,
a role play element from Leah. You're always free to do medicine checks on each other. You never know. Maybe you guys picked something up.
yeah. I mean,
Someone needs a leech.
wouldn't it be a nature check for the druid?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's a
Trying to get in
druid,
the
but she
system.
still is a person. That's just her job.
Well, I guess, difference of opinion. What do you think about all this?
About what?
How do you think we should proceed?
We're finding Mordriel, yes?
Mordriel is on the way here to kill us all and destroy this place.
And
We
then I
are
suppose we have found him.
discussing. Yes. We currently have no way of defeating him. We are discussing how we might best do that.
Why?
Well, I believe that it's possible we could save Gaia with some chronology magic with the aid of the tower.
Why?
To preserve life.
Why?
That is our purpose.
Is it? Or is that just what you've been told?
It is what I've been told, but it is also what I have come to believe through observation and study and quite a bit of thought.
What if our purpose all along was to find Mordriel?
To what
To
end?
join him and finish this farce. I have no other Quura ever managed to do the job. Perhaps this isn't the wrong job we are trying to do. It is all a game. You said that yourself. In the mirror, didn't you? You said it was all a game. It is a game. Are we just pawns again?
We are lesser creatures compared to the gods, I would assume.
Is this world just a whim? Every joy, every folly, every tear you have ever shed in your life is nothing. It means nothing. It is all just a whim of the gods, a petty attempt at entertaining themselves.
Does that make your sadness or joy any less real?
It as if they're not mine to begin with. If this soul I have inside me is a recycled version of somebody else, how do I even know everything I feel is even mine? It isn't mine, is it? What if it is just a pale imitation of what came before? Have any of us ever truly lived? Is what we experience authentic in any way? How many more times will we be used as pawns? What if Mordriel has a point? even without souls. We turn the world to ruin. Perhaps none of us deserve creation the way it is.
Perhaps. Perhaps it is not about deserving. I do not deserve half the goodness I've had. I have done and been things that I would view as an abomination of life. Even in my thoughts, even just in my dreams. Perhaps it's not about deserving good or bad. Perhaps it's just knowing that we are here. And yes, these souls within us are connected to something else, somewhere else, someone else. But if that's everyone, then it's the only authentic experience we can have.
And it is meaningless to continue this cycle.
You know, there is nothing sadder than a sad turtle. Look at you, use the mirror. It's like, normally your face frowns or pouts in the first place, but now it's just compounded. Listen, if nothing matters, if there is no point to anything, if we are just pawns to a game that's being played, which I don't believe we are, I think they've given up a long time ago. There's a reason why the gods don't walk among us. There's a reason why the angels here are quiet, even if they have no souls. This is, or at least was until this Mordriel showed up our world to do what we wanted to do, and simply put, what I want to do.
You're wrong.
Is this. Oh?
It was never our world to do what we wanted to do. How can you think that, given everything you've just been told?
Well, I mean, given your freedoms in your long life, Turtle, your travels, doing what it is you want to do, you have had freedom.
I don't think I have.
Or were you tugged around on a leash going across the mountaintops? Does it truly matter?
You.
No. Oh, that's a shame. I thought we'd what's that word? We'd had a bond of sorts. Perhaps maybe I was wrong. A pity. Regardless, maybe it's because I'm talking the truth to you. Again, regardless of if we have, for lack of a better word, recycled souls that have been in people far older, far greater perhaps than us. Does that truly matter?
You are a facsimile of what it means to exist. We all are.
Facsimile?
It's all a lie.
I believe we exist. We're here, are we not? If anything, in this grand scheme of things, this game of the gods, we are the most real thing out there. Our counterparts in the other world. didn't have souls. They simply did as they were made to do.
And you think having a soul makes that any different?
Well, perhaps it does. I mean, why not? Regardless, you have a choice. Do you not? Either you retreat into that convenient shell of yours and do nothing and rot away, or find this Mordriel, I don't know, die. Or you can do something about it, learn more about it, learn more about yourself. Do something with your life at least before you die.
See her. I give you a stern look.
My smile widens a little bit. What?
What does Juden... Does she look incredibly sad after his words? Do they look like they affected her?
Seer's words appear to have just washed over me.
No effect.
I'm not offended, and I'm not saddened by what he said. I look like somebody who has made a resolve. But looks, not lost, but lacking.
I would like to step up towards where Jilden, are you sitting down?
No, I'm standing, leaning on my staff.
Okay. Sorry, one moment. Yeah, I'm gonna come over to you and I'm gonna like get down on one knee and put a hand on your shoulder. And I'm going to cast something with only an RP purpose. Aura of Life. And I'm just gonna look you in the eyes. Jilden. I don't know where you've been. I don't know how you got here. I don't know where we are going. But it is an honor to be at your side. And if given by gods, petty or not, I take it. There is no such thing. There is always time. Time to be different. Choose different. Find something new. I know that I know nothing of who you were before or where we're going. But I just want you to know that I believe you're real. I know you. I put my hand on the front of your shell where your heart is. I know you. We're bonded. I'm yours and you're mine. I think that has meaning. I think that has meaning. I give it so. You're sort of like washed with these feelings of my magic, which is this white, warm. It's like a very specific warmth. Like when you climb into a bed at night and the sheets are fresh and you've had a long day and the room is the perfect temperature and you've nowhere to be. You can just take your time and exist. That's the feeling that this particular spell has.
Perhaps. If the soul that is Quura, the soul that is mine, persists, it will remember these people, you. But more than likely it won't.
Who's to say? You. I thought you just minimized yourself. I thought you don't matter. Why all of a sudden now you think you know what happens to your soul?
I said perhaps. Does anybody truly know what happens to our souls?
Does anybody truly care?
Yes, I do.
Fair.
I personally would like to at least attempt to save Gaia. I don't agree that life is meaningless. If it was meaningless, then we wouldn't be having any feelings or discussion about any of this at all.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yes,
Give it
but you're doing
meaning.
it in a way that makes everyone dislike
Listen,
you even more.
Thrak, just because you have this chip on your shoulder from being this orc doesn't necessarily mean that everything anyone says to you that's not, oh, you're the best, isn't just fact. I'm telling Julden, she can live her life. Get over yourself, you green beast. Live, all of you. I'm starting to lose my patience. And I walk away.
Before he walks away even, I turn to the mirror and say, what angel's soul resides in all of us? In the four of us?
Okay. The mirror version of Thrak glances over at the back of Seer as he strides off, glances back to you and says, there is no angel soul in you exactly. Doesn't really work like that.
Okay. How can I command control of the tower's ability to manipulate time?
Okay, first of all, mark off some damage.
I've marked it off for both of them.
Thrak opens a book, one that you've never seen before. He pulls it out of the bag of the satchel of holding that you've got, and begins flicking through the pages. He says, "Right, well, superposition. Do you know what that is? I'll explain. The placement of one object, ideally in the position of another one, in order to show that the two coincide. The first magic of superposition is a concept brought in from outside of the mana weave. The builder, the first, the wizard who created this tower, sourced the magic from another plane. Something like the tower can be in multiple states at the same time until it is observed or measured. Imagine you have a light switch." He starts pacing like a university tutor or something. "Imagine you have a light switch that can be both on and off at the same time. It's only when you look at the switch that it chooses to be either on or off. Before you look, it exists in superposition of both states. In the same way, the tower can be in different places or have different properties simultaneously. It's only when we measure it in one specific state that it can exist in all times. Harnessing this ability would require someone to apply the wheel, the emplacement, the location, and the position of the wheel, and thus the tower at the appropriate time they wish. However, the magic that exists within the tower can only be accessed when one is shown, when they observe it. For example, you must watch another wizard turn the wheel to move it from one basic location to the next. The same for planes movement, the same for time. There are currently no wizards able to show you time or planes walking. You shall have to discover it or find one." The Thrag settles in front of you.
I look to the others and say, well, that solution is unlikely. And I notice that Sia has just walked off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do intelligence saving throw. 11. Okay. Do I see where Sia has gone?
I mean, I don't know why you did an intelligence saving throw first.
Well, that's for me.
Okay, right. Okay. I thought it was you. Just a weird. You're now doing perception checks with the weave.
Yeah. Can I use magic to detect exactly where he is? No.
Well, I guess that would be up to Sia then.
I didn't go far. I just walked to a tree away from physical proximity.
So I can see you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess I just turn to Sirius and say, well.
Yeah.
Neither of those questions really amounted to much. So, if you have any other ideas.
I don't know, Thrak. I don't know. I look a bit yeah, like just haggard, you know? Like I think you've noticed
over time that Cirrus just continues to look more and more exhausted. That's just part of the journey. But I think I've tried very hard to withhold as much of that as possible. But right now I just seem... Yeah, it's like I haven't slept in a millennia. I don't know, Thrak. My heart is guiding me to believe that anything that we do will be the right choice. Because that is why we were chosen in the first place. Is that any decision that we make will be the decision that we were meant to make. Who we are.
I disagree.
Our bond. You
I
disagree?
believe there is a wrong choice to make here. Probably many.
Yes. Well, I said that's what my heart says. I would like
Is
to
your
believe-
mind telling you something else?
My jaw tightens. I don't think we can beat Mordriel. It does not make sense to me. With spear or dragon, even us in tandem, I believe that we will sacrifice ourselves meaninglessly, and we will not be here to witness our failure. I still believe that when Caradwin said that it could not be stopped and that it was already broken, my instinct to go to a time when it was not, that still makes the most sense to me, but I haven't a clue how to make that happen. I have no idea if it would work. I have no idea if we are capable of such a thing. I don't know if anything is capable of such a thing. Not even Mordriel himself.
Wait.
Wait.
I'm sorry. Yes?
Do you think Mordriel could?
No, Mordriel has no power over time. I just asked how we could use the tower, the most powerful artifact in existence as far as we know. And it said we would have to find another time wizard to show me how.
Well, there's you. Surely,
No, another one.
another you.
I cannot spend time that much without the tower in the first place, so I cannot go to the future to ask myself to help me without having me show me how to do it.
But hold on. Wait. If we decide that that's what we need to do, then the future you would know that that's what we've decided to do, and would know that you would need that information, and would know that you would be the only person who would be able to give it. So you wouldn't have to seek him, he'll find us.
Potentially, we could walk into the tower and he could be there waiting for us, I suppose. But, One quick thing for the GM. Did we ever ask how to kill Mordriel? I think we did, didn't we?
You asked like a roundabout kind of version. I think you... Man, I thought I wrote it down.
Anyone remember? It's been a week and all of our, like, no way, man. Where's that 18-year-old
I'm still
brain
deathly
when you
ill.
need
I've been
it?
ill for 6 weeks, and so my memory is not very good either. You did ask. I sort of remember the answer you were given. You asked sort of a something, or generalized something around there, and the mirror responded by kind of giving you the answer that Mordriel has already been killed, basically, once with the spear, and that it didn't quite take was essentially the answer. But I don't think you asked outright, how do we kill Mordriel? To just get, like a 1-1 answer, something as simple as that. So there were essentially you understood before you got the story of Mordriel and what's going on, that an attempt has been made on him before and it didn't stick.
Right.
Yeah, then... Oh, right. Sorry, you were asking the GM. You did not say that out loud. Sorry. Continue. I was just going to be like, I turn to the mirror and ask. But you didn't say anything out loud, so...
Yeah, I would say, well, I wonder if we should ask one last question. And I think the wording is important. Should we ask, how do we defeat Mordriel? How do we stop Mordriel? How do we save Gaia? How do we kill Mordriel?
GM, didn't we ask how do we save Gaia, and that was when the mirror answered you can't?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Your first few questions were not specific. They were very monkey's paw. But
Okay.
yes, essentially.
Wait, I'm sorry, we did ask how to kill him?
No,
And
you
so-
No, we
asked
asked-
how to save Gaia.
Yeah.
And we can't, okay. Man, I really should have written all these down in my notebook.
I thought I did write
Worst-
them all down, and
Worst
I hate
intelligence
myself.
character ever.
Yeah, really, this is on you guys. You should be taking better notes.
For real.
Well, me, I mean, Sia, like, least dependable, and we got Jilden, who's, pity party, then we've got this one who's haven't had a nap in 84 years.
I'm also
Sorry.
just asking it like all these random questions not related to what we're actually doing.
Yeah. The one
What does it
about
all
lipstick
mean,
was
Mirror?
ridiculous.
Hmm?
Well, we can follow our original plan and hope for the best.
Why don't we, original plan and hope for the best. Bring the spear to the dragon. See what happens. Well, I suppose the one thing about that is that we'll have more information as we go. Perhaps we're just missing something that we need to know in order to move forward with a different direction. We would only find along the way.
Yes, we may find another solution. I think we should Well, I think I should attempt to protect this place from Mordriel's arrival, if I can, and then we should go.
Protect this place.
Yes.
Well, I did bring this up before. This place more or less was protected from Mordriel before we taught those two how to get here.
Yes.
One we have killed, one has fled. I know not where to, or if they are capable of leaving here without us. So, however, if you do intend to protect this pocket, for whatever purpose that may have, I feel as if we must needs find this person.
Well, I'm more concerned about Mordriel getting in.
To here, yes, this garden?
Yes.
Yes, as I said, the two that came here did so to try and find a way for Mordriel to get in here to destroy it and smash this dish. So we must find them and put a stop to them before they get back to him.
You think that they didn't already communicate how to get in here to him?
I don't know how it works, do I?
Yes.
Maybe, maybe not.
Exactly.
There is a chance. There's a chance to all of this, Thrak.
Okay. I'm telling you, I'm going to focus on this problem. If you want to seek that one out, by all means.
Are they not the same problem?
Are they not
Yes,
indeed,
probably.
Cirrus? Are they not indeed?
I don't understand why you're getting so frustrated.
I'm frustrated because at every turn, there's just a little part of you. And I know, I understand, right? I'm so pretty. However, even when the most base, simple, straightforward information is put in front of your face, you find a way to bat it away. Even going to your tower and trying this solution that Cirrus put in front of your face. It can't possibly be that I have more faith in you than you have in yourself. How can that be? As I said before, get over yourself. I turn
I
my
grab
total
him by
friend.
the fucking throat.
Oh,
with a grapple
far
check.
away. Oh, okay.
I misty step to you and grab you by the throat. Actually,
All
no.
right.
I cast momentary stasis.
Well, you attempt to grab me, however,
Yeah.
A
what does momentary
Constitution
stasis
saving
do?
throw.
Okay.
Sorry, how do you
An
grab
11.
him?
You are held in place. will
I
show
wasn't
you.
moving. So, you cast momentary stasis, now what?
Thrak!
I then would sprint to you and grab you by the throat and lift you into the air.
I look down on you.
You want to see me angry, is that it? You think I've been dismissive before? Wait until you see what's inside me, Sia. If you don't shut up and let me deal with the problem, then we will all die. If you want to go seek out this thing, do so, instead of standing there and waiting for us to decide what to do. Go. I do not care. I will solve this problem, and you solve that.
You'll try. But have some faith in yourself, you lummox.
What are you
You
even
said-
saying?
I wish, with that big head of yours, you would know, because it is clear as day to me. But drop me before you regret things.
What I know is that you are a fool.
I wish you knew more than you think you did.
So explain it then. It's so easy to pick at people from a distance, but you don't know what you're talking about. You think you're helping? You're making everything worse along every step. I wonder if we wouldn't be better off without you.
I wonder indeed. However, at this very moment, you're making me doubt my faith in you.
You have never shown faith in anyone, so far as I can tell. And I'll throw him against a tree.
Thrak! I step forward and I grab Thrak's arm, the one that he used to throw. I grab it hard. What are you doing?
I am going to try to save this place, this small corner that still holds life. Perhaps you should assist him in finding the one that got away.
Is that a dismissal, Thrak? Are you dismissing me?
I said perhaps. Do what you want. And I'm going to try to... Well, I'm going to walk away and try to study the weave that protects this place and see if there's a way that I can change it.
Okay. Firstly, you understand the mana weave. Now presumably you have proficiency in Arcana. You now have expertise.
Yeah, I have expertise in the weave. Yeah, I have advantage on rolls, I think.
No. You have expertise mechanically in Arcana. So you get, I think expertise is double your proficiency bonus.
Cool.
To all of your checks from now on. And this is because you understand the fundamentals of magic. And not just the fundamentals, as in the fundamentals of the basis of where it all comes from. This is not a reward for starting PvP, by the way, but you also whispered a question to the mirror. You can pick any one spell from 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th level, as in the spell level.
Right.
You can pick any one spell you want. The higher up that you go on that list, though, I don't know if you're going to reach that level.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean?
So I do need the spell slot in order to cast it. Okay.
So the gamble is down to you. Whether you want to take a 5th level spell, a 6th level spell, so on. You could take a 9th level spell, you can have Wish. But I can't guarantee that you'll hit level 17.
Right.
You might. You might not. So that's your game to play for a little while here. You wander off and start to sort of attempt to attune with the ridiculously overpowered spell that sits across the House of Knowledge to begin to figure out a way to either hack it or recast it or do something to potentially stop Mordriel from gaining access. While you do that, and we will get to that, that is going to be a series of checks that you're going to need to make. What are the other three doing?
After I confronted Thrak, I would have run over to where Seer was to check that he was not injured. Are you
I'm
all right?
fine. I look up at her and I say, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. However, and I turn to Jilden. I'm not sure, perhaps maybe she might be onto something. If faith, if being told that he has the power he snaps, if that is meant to be our salvation, if he is supposed to help us, as small as I stand, I look at him now and he's never been smaller. I'm going to see if I can find this person. If you recall, she said she has to tell them. That means they haven't spoken yet. Stay here if you will. Maybe perhaps talk some sense into this self-hating lummox. I don't know. Frankly, I don't care. Not anymore, at least, anyway.
I think it would be very bad if you left. Do you even know how to get out? How would you come back? How would we find you?
I do not intend to leave. I intend, as I suggested, before being strangled, before you told him that it was the same plan, to find the only chink in this chain and stop them. Do you care to follow me and find them? Do you care to stay? I shall leave that to you.
Small point of order. I just want to double check because my memory might be failing me. Did they not leave? They left the
they
House of
ran
Knowledge.
away.
One of them's dead.
They
One of them's dead.
one of them's dead, and the other one used the magic
other one
to phase out.
Did tear out. It was almost as
They
if
phased out?
Yeah, it was almost as if she tore a piece of the magic down and did leave the enchantment. Again, you're in a spell. The two forests are overlaid.
Right.
I mean, I guess you wouldn't really know how that works, but yeah, she did leave.
In
He's
which
out.
case, I
Out
still
of
won't
knowledge.
retcon what I said. And I'll walk away regardless.
I look to Jilden.
I've been watching you all. With my hands both on my staff. Just observing.
What do we do?
You do what you think is the right thing to do. As you always have. You are here for a reason. You yourself said this, you all parrot this. Your face. for whatever reason you are here. Don't doubt that.
But you can.
I am also here for a reason. Everything I am, everything I have been has led to this. It is the same for all of us. But none of us are the same. The outcome will differ.
I would like to roll an insight on her.
Okay. What are you trying to determine?
I'm trying to see how far gone she is in this path of darkness.
Wow.
27.
Natural
nat
20. I mean, this is somewhat up to you, Leah, but I would roll that really she sort of gets everything. I don't know if she's looking at you and you recognize this from someone else or something, Cirrus. You recognize the state that she's in. She's in it. She's had her world rocked by something, and she's just like her core being has been shattered or something here. But I think I'll leave it up to Leah to determine.
As I speak to you, you recognize that everything I say has a firm foundation. There's no shakiness. You recognize it does not come from a place of fear. It does not come from a place of desperation or loss. It just is. There is an immutable fact to the way I talk. As if I know the very core of the universe. It anchors everything, I believe, at this point in time. But as I speak with you, there is no malice. There is no hope for you to give up. You sense this feeling of children believing in Cirrus and truly believing that Cirrus is here to do what Cirrus is meant to do. Children is not trying to convince Cirrus to join her in her thoughts. She is simply accepting everybody for who they are.
I look at you with a curious expression. And is it like cool to ask people to do an insight on me? Or is that like against the D&D rules of play?
First of all, there are no rules here. We're barely
Is that
playing
like
D&D.
bad?
If it
But
helps,
is
if you find any orthodox DM out there and show them any one of my campaigns, they will vomit. It will kill them. We're barely playing D. I play a weird, twisted D&D 5e light that I wrote. So
I think it's
Instead, can I roll for whether... Because at this point, it's simple logical curiosity that would determine whether or not I care enough to figure you out right now.
Yeah.
So I think I'd like to roll for the curiosity more than anything.
okay. Cool.
Sorry, I'm just going to roll a flat d20.
Thank you for obliging me.
It's an 11. So there is, I would say, a spark of curiosity as to what is going on inside your mind.
reverse Uno insight check.
Reversing it. Yeah, I kind of just wanted because
I would say your heart's on your sleeve most of the time as well, so it's probably
Exactly,
I can
yeah.
see everything.
well, the thing is like I'm trying. I after what I've just intuited, right, or what I've just insought. It's not a word. I know not to communicate back to you with words. I know it's pointless. Like that's not what would reach you, you know? And so I want to just like give you a look that expresses understanding and acceptance of who you are, you know? Like if that's what I got from you just now, I want to return it in kind and be like, all right, I see where you're at and I'm meeting you there. And I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise either, is the vibe. And so I just give like a light nod and chew my lip a little.
My eyes soften a little bit, and any tension that was in my shoulders is lessened ever so slightly. You should go. Look for Seer.
Yes, I will. And I linger on your eyes a little bit before I turn and walk away.
At any point,
yeah.
did you look in the mirror? Even if, do you think there was any point you would have glanced over? Is there any point?
I'm like always checking my hair. Yeah,
Were
yeah,
you checking
totally.
your hair?
Yeah, 100% I would be casting glances at the mirror. Because because there's so much visual interest going on there.
There's a point where she says you should go and look for Seer, and you linger for a moment. You sort of glance back to where you saw Seer walking off, glance back to Jildan, and the mirror just over Jildan's shoulder. In the mirror, for a moment, you see a different person where Jildan is stood. You see a tiefling stood there with sort of deep red skin and these black horns that curve backwards over her head, twice the size of what yours are. Now, Jildan being stood away from this mirror, you don't see her face or anything like that, but you can make out very quickly that this is a tiefling with a very strange kind of hairstyle that's kind of pulled to one side and runs down over her shoulder with these little braids these thin little braids that run much longer than the actual natural length of the rest of the loose hair. And the clothing is extremely bizarre. It's like nothing you've ever seen on anyone else before. These strange wraps with lots and lots of belts, very rudimentary looking. As you catch this, and that is a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
You witness it. You recognize for a second that the mirror reflects the original soul of Jildan. That natural 20 insight, you're fully aware of what you saw there. What you actually did was you connected with the angel in that moment and just got a glimpse.
Sorry, I'm like disintegrating into, that's so cool. Okay.
But Jildan's also looking at you like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah. I log that away. And then I nod and I turn.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah, I'm gonna go look for Seer.
Okay. Yeah, you wander off in the direction that Seer went. Hard has already followed Thrak away. First of all, what's your passive perception, Jildan?
16.
16. I'm gonna roll a good old-fashioned real clacky-clack dice.
Oh my god, ASMR.
Okay. Yeah, you're left here for a moment. You see the others kind of disperse into the forest. There's a sort of a peace to this area. Again, there's life here. You haven't witnessed any life for a while. The place that you are from, your home, Azadin, is more of a sort of an open expanse of flat green land with just these huge lakes and these underwater connecting tunnels and things with these like kind of large plains and beautiful long lakeside meadows. But there is an element where there are forested areas and there are these wonderful patches of land, but there's a sort of an element to having just your feet an inch into this pool of water and being surrounded by nature that inevitably brings you back to a time when you were probably very young and growing up in the traditional way of your people, and you are left here in this kind of space for a little while. What do you do?
I close my eyes for a moment, finally alone in this place. And just breathe in this air. I listen to the nature around me, still holding on to my staff in the middle of this pool. Eventually, I'll take one knee and dip a clawed hand into the water, just lightly, skimming across the water surface. Bringing my fingers to my face, watching the water drip from them. And then, for the first time since coming here, I allow myself to look towards the mirror.
Yeah, you see a perfect reflection of yourself.
I take a step forward, stare. A hand reaches to my face. Just to check. And then I look myself in the eyes in the mirror. And I go to ask a question, but my breath hitches. I swallow. Close my eyes and try again. Did Ernest ever love me?
The reflection of yourself doesn't sort of change how they are staring back at you for the first moment here. For the most part, whenever somebody asks a question, the reflection breaks off almost immediately and starts doing different things. Your reflection holds your gaze and holds the position that you're stood in for a moment, and then there's a moment where the Jildan in the mirror sighs very deeply and then kind of awkwardly walks away. There's a toughness to the hips in the way that the mirror Jildan walks, that maybe it's something that you hide. Maybe you do have tough hips, or maybe you have some pain in the hips that you conceal, but this version of Jildan doesn't. Seems to almost struggle to walk away from your reflection. She turns to you and says, well, the first thing is, Elnaeus was not called Elnaeus. Elnaeus, the angel, I am not believed to be capable of love. Your Elnaeus is a fiend known as Anawa, a hag, a witch, a demon, a devil, a cultist. You were led astray, and you wasted 35 years of your life trying to find your angel. You lied, stole, killed. You're a demon. And all you needed to do was pick up a book. But you didn't. You allowed yourself to be led astray by this creature until it was bored of you. And then it dropped you. And left you. And what do you have to show for it? No. Anawar did not love you. No. Elneas the angel did not love you. Who could? And there's a moment at the end of this where the reflection kind of warps a little bit. Make me an insight check.
21.
It warps into this kind of bizarre woman. And this being steps forth from the mirror. This woman just looks pretty much like a human woman. Very beautiful, slightly elven fey ears with two small horns that protrude out of the front of her forehead in a very demonic way rather than something like a tiefling. She has this just sort of just pale, kind of creamy skin that toughens and hardens into scales that form a kind of dress. Behind her and sitting on just off of her shoulders, these wings are folded inwards, and you can see them sort of tucked behind her as she steps out of the mirror, still imitating your voice. She says, "Well, look who's finally come home to roost. You've been missing for some time." This woman starts to walk around you.
Who are you?
My name is Anawari, and you know that already.
I reach up a hand. And reach out to try and touch Anawari.
A hand reaches out towards you. She holds it outwards. As your hand touches hers, it passes through it. Her hand kind of mists and twists in the air like a smoke. She says, "Oh, I'm not actually there with that horrible mirror and all of that light. No, I'm up here in your head, where I've always been. And that one," points in the direction that Sirius wandered off to. Yes, she thought I was a river of blood for a little while. Almost got her to kill someone. She's a little tougher than you. You were very easy to break.
Both my hands take my staff once again. And crackles of lightning begin forming all around. And I look to the sky. And I look to this blasted mirror in front of me. As the crackles of lightning extend into tendrils that reach forward towards the mirror. And then stop, barely an inch away. They dissipate, leaving the mirror unscathed, as if I could ever harm an angel anyway, as if I have that capacity. I slam my staff into the ground, splashing the water, willing this creature in front of me away.
She watches you do all of this, and she's stepping around you. As she steps around you in the pools of water, there's no rippling from her. Sort of. At first, it looks like she's wearing like boots, but you'd recognize actually that the bottoms of her feet are kind of cloven. And she steps around you, watching you do all of this. A sort of amused look on her face. She says, "See you soon." And she vanishes.
I collapse to one knee and sob.